LeBron James may have just received the strongest hint yet about his NBA future, and it came from one of the league's most respected organizations. The Miami Heat briefly published a YouTube live stream titled LeBron James Introductory Press Conference before quickly removing it. Within minutes, screenshots spread across social media, sparking immediate speculation that a reunion between LeBron and Miami was already in motion. The Heat later explained that the stream had only been prepared in advance in case LeBron chose their organization and was accidentally made public by a member of the social media staff. While that explanation may be completely truthful, the incident reignited one of the biggest conversations of the offseason. Whether it was an honest mistake, a precautionary upload, or something more revealing, it reminded everyone that Miami remains one of the most realistic destinations if LeBron decides to leave Los Angeles. For weeks, basketball analysts have debated which franchise gives LeBron the best opportunity to compete for one more championship before retirement. Philadelphia has often been viewed as the most talented option on paper because a lineup featuring Tyrese Maxey, Jaylen Brown, rising rookie VJ Edgecombe, Joel Embiid, and LeBron would instantly become one of the league's most dangerous starting groups. The offensive firepower would be undeniable, and the roster would possess elite scoring at nearly every position. However, there is one question that continues to overshadow every championship projection involving the 76ers: health. Joel Embiid has struggled to stay available during the most important stretches of recent seasons, and every championship dream depends on him remaining healthy for an entire playoff run. That uncertainty has forced many observers to reconsider whether Philadelphia truly offers the safest path to another title. Miami presents a completely different situation. Instead of asking LeBron to carry another franchise, the Heat already have a defensive identity, a championship-tested culture, and a roster designed around discipline and accountability. LeBron would not need to dominate every possession. His responsibilities would be clearly defined from the opening day of training camp. Miami desperately needs another elite playmaker capable of controlling the offense during crucial moments, while LeBron would benefit from joining an organization that has consistently surrounded its stars with structure, toughness, and role players willing to embrace their assignments. That combination could extend his effectiveness even as he enters the later stages of his legendary career. The biggest reason Miami suddenly looks even more attractive is the presence of Giannis Antetokounmpo. Pairing LeBron with one of the league's most dominant two-way superstars would immediately transform the Heat into a legitimate championship favorite. Despite an injury-filled season that limited Giannis to only a portion of the schedule, his production remained remarkable whenever he stepped on the floor. He continued scoring efficiently, attacking defenses with unmatched physicality, creating opportunity for teammates, and proving he remains one of basketball's most unstoppable forces. Advanced metrics continued placing him among the league's elite offensive players despite the reduced number of games. There is also reason to believe Giannis could return stronger than ever. Because injuries ended his season early, he has enjoyed a much longer recovery period than usual. Instead of entering another campaign worn down after years of nonstop basketball, he has had valuable time to recover physically and mentally. Players whose games depend heavily on explosiveness, strength, and constant attacks at the basket often benefit from extended rest, and many around the league expect Giannis to regain the dominant form that once made him an MVP and Finals MVP. If that version of Giannis returns, LeBron would no longer have to shoulder the burden of carrying an offense every night. Instead, he can focus on facilitating, controlling tempo, exploiting mismatches, and conserving energy for the moments that matter most in the postseason. Miami's defense, combined with Bam Adebayo's versatility and Eric Spoelstra's proven coaching system, would create an environment where LeBron's basketball IQ could have maximum impact without requiring him to carry the physical workload he handled during his younger years. For a player chasing one final championship before the end of an unforgettable career, roster fit matters just as much as star power. Philadelphia offers tremendous upside but comes with major health concerns surrounding its franchise center. Miami, on the other hand, offers stability, elite coaching, defensive toughness, championship culture, and the possibility of forming one of the most dangerous superstar combinations in basketball. If LeBron's ultimate goal is adding a fifth NBA championship to his legacy, the Heat may now represent the clearest path available, and after that unexpected YouTube mistake, The basketball world will be watching Miami more closely than ever. If Miami really has a chance to pair LeBron James with Giannis Antetokounmpo, it would be difficult to imagine LeBron turning down that opportunity. Giannis remains one of the NBA's most dominant players when healthy, and many around the league believe he is still the best superstar available for any veteran chasing another championship. A partnership built around those two would not simply rely on star power. Their games naturally complement each other in ways that could create one of the league's toughest offenses to defend. One of the biggest reasons is Giannis' effectiveness in the pick and roll. Throughout his career, he has thrived when paired with a smart playmaker capable of reading defenses and making quick decisions. In Milwaukee, Chris Middleton often filled that role by running two-man actions, pulling defenders out of position, creating his own mid-range offense, or delivering perfectly timed passes to Giannis attacking the rim. Those possessions became one of the Bucks' most dependable offensive weapons because both players understood how to exploit defensive mistakes. LeBron could elevate that formula even further. Even in the later stages of his career, he remains one of basketball's smartest decision-makers with exceptional passing vision. Defenses would face an impossible choice. If they switch, Giannis gains a smaller defender near the basket. If they stay attached to Giannis, LeBron has room to attack or create his own shot. If help defenders collapse into the paint, LeBron's ability to immediately find open shooters becomes a major problem. Few teams possess the personnel to consistently stop that type of action over an entire playoff series. Miami's roster also gives Giannis something he has often benefited from throughout his career: a defensive anchor beside him. Bam Adebayo can handle many of the toughest matchups against opposing centers while remaining mobile enough to defend guards on switches. That allows Giannis to play the role he performs best, helping from the weak side, protecting the rim, rotating into passing lanes, and creating turnovers through his athleticism rather than spending every possession battling larger centers in the paint. That defensive structure also benefits LeBron. At this point in his career, asking him to defend elite scorers for heavy minutes every night would be unrealistic. Miami would not need him to do that. With Bam controlling the interior and Giannis covering enormous amounts of ground defensively, LeBron could conserve energy while using his experience, positioning, and basketball IQ to make timely defensive plays. Instead of carrying the defensive workload, he could focus on directing the offense, controlling the pace, and delivering when games become most important. For a veteran chasing one more championship, that may be the most valuable role possible. Miami's defensive foundation is already strong enough that LeBron would not have to carry a major burden on that end of the floor. The Heat have built a roster filled with versatile defenders who can handle the toughest matchups, allowing LeBron to conserve energy for what he still does better than almost anyone in the league: running an offense and controlling big moments. If LeBron joined Miami, the projected starting lineup could feature Davion Mitchell, Andrew Wiggins, LeBron James, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Bam Adebayo. That group would give Miami defensive flexibility at every position. Mitchell brings relentless on-ball pressure against opposing guards. Wiggins has the size and athleticism to switch across multiple positions. Bam remains one of the NBA's best defensive centers, capable of protecting the paint while also switching onto perimeter players. Giannis would be free to play his most dangerous defensive role, roaming the floor, erasing mistakes, and disrupting passing lanes instead of spending every possession wrestling with opposing centers. In that lineup, LeBron would arguably face the lightest offensive responsibilities of any starter. That is not because he's become a poor defender, but because everyone around him is capable of taking on the most physically demanding assignments. Even at this stage of his career, LeBron still makes smart rotations, communicates well, and uses his basketball IQ to create timely defensive stops. Miami's roster would simply allow him to choose his moments, preserving valuable energy for offense and for the playoffs, where every possession matters most. That type of situation becomes increasingly important for a player entering his 24th NBA season. The goal is no longer to dominate every regular season game. The goal is arriving in the postseason healthy, fresh, and capable of performing at an elite level when championships are decided. Miami's defensive structure gives LeBron exactly that opportunity. The offensive side may be an even stronger argument. When Miami acquired Giannis, many analysts believe the Heat instantly became an elite defensive team, but still questioned whether they had enough half-court creation to compete with the league's best offenses. Giannis is one of basketball's greatest transition players, but asking him to also serve as a primary playmaker, top scorer, defensive anchor, and offensive organizer places an enormous workload on one player. LeBron solves many of those concerns immediately. He remains one of the NBA's smartest offensive leaders, capable of slowing the game down, reading defenses, creating easy shots for teammates, and organizing possessions when games become tight. Instead of forcing Giannis to initiate every important play, LeBron can handle the offense while Giannis focuses on attacking defenses as a finisher and mismatch nightmare. That balance would make Miami far more difficult to defend. Rather than asking Giannis to do everything, the responsibilities would finally be shared between two of the greatest basketball minds in the game. Giannis could concentrate on scoring efficiently and dominating defensively, while LeBron controls tempo, creates opportunities for everyone else, and delivers the leadership that championship teams require. That combination is exactly why many around the league believe Miami makes more sense than almost any other destination if LeBron's only priority is winning another NBA title. Miami already has a kind of defense that creates turnovers, blocks shots, and forces opponents into mistakes. Those defensive plays quickly turn into fast break opportunities, which is exactly where Giannis is at his most dangerous. But every playoff game eventually slows down. Transition chances disappear, defenses tighten, and teams are forced to execute in the half court. That is where LeBron James could completely change Miami's offense. Few players in NBA history have controlled the pace of a game like LeBron. He can organize the offense, identify favorable matchups, and make sure every player is in the right position before possession even begins. The possibilities would be endless. LeBron and Giannis running pick and roll together would immediately become one of the toughest actions to defend in basketball. If defenders collapse on Giannis, LeBron can find open shooters. If defenses stay home on the perimeter, Giannis attacks the basket. Miami would also have another option because Bam Adebayo remains one of the league's best screen setters and one of the most underrated passing big men. Running LeBron and Bam in two-man actions would force defenses to make difficult decisions while giving Miami another reliable half-court weapon. LeBron's shooting has also improved enough that defenders can no longer completely ignore him away from the ball. While he is not constantly moving like Stephen Curry, opponents still have to respect his catch-and-shoot ability. That extra spacing would create even more driving lanes for Giannis, allowing him to attack the rim without constantly facing multiple defenders in the paint. Every inch of extra space matters when building an elite playoff offense. Perhaps the biggest benefit would come whenever Giannis sits on the bench. Right now, Miami lacks another elite offensive creator capable of leading the second unit. Without Giannis, the offense could become stagnant. LeBron immediately solves that problem. He could lead reserve lineups, create open looks for role players, and keep the offense functioning while Giannis rests. Coaches could stagger their minutes so that one superstar remains on the floor throughout nearly the entire game. That strategy would dramatically reduce the pressure on Giannis while preventing the offensive drop-off that often hurts teams during the regular season and playoffs. Keeping Giannis fresh is especially important after recent injury concerns. The Heat would no longer need him to carry the offense every possession because LeBron could absorb much of that responsibility. Instead of asking Giannis to score, defend every position, rebound, initiate offense, and play heavy minutes, Miami could divide those duties between two future Hall of Famers. That approach would likely improve both players' effectiveness while reducing unnecessary wear and tear before the postseason. Without LeBron, Miami would still be a competitive team. A projected lineup featuring Davion Mitchell, Tim Hardaway Jr., Andrew Wiggins, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Bam Adebayo would remain one of the toughest defensive groups in the conference. However, the depth behind that starting lineup raises legitimate questions. Veterans such as Bobby Portis would be asked to carry larger offensive roles, while several younger rotation players would need to contribute more consistently than they have in the past. That creates uncertainty for a team hoping to compete for a championship. Adding LeBron changes the picture completely. He would not only strengthen the starting lineup, but also push everyone else into roles better suited to their strengths. Bench players would face less pressure, rotations would become deeper, and Miami's offense would have a dependable leader at all times. Instead of simply being a difficult playoff opponent, the Heat will become a complete championship contender. Giannis alone raises Miami's floor considerably because he guarantees competitiveness whenever he is healthy. Pair him with LeBron, Bam, and an already elite defensive system, and the conversation changes from making the playoffs to winning the Eastern Conference. If LeBron's priority is capturing one final NBA championship, there may not be a more balanced situation available than joining a Miami roster built around Giannis, Bam Adebayo, and one of the league's best coaching staffs.